Hello there, my beautiful, amazing, expansive unlearners. It is a pleasure to be in your presence today. So I want to just explain myself before you go, what is happening here? So today I wanted to create a video that as we say goodbye to 2022, I wanted to just share with you a framework that I use personally to skip into the next phase of whatever my life is going into, whether it's the new week, the new month, the new quarter, or even the new year like we are doing right now. I want to share that framework that I personally use, my team at the UnLearners uses, but also that I share with some of my closest clients as well. I want you to be able to leverage, use this framework to help you to really do two key things. And you'll see how this particular video is for those two key things. One more than the other, but both things at the same time. So the first thing is really to help you to leverage some of the lessons and take stock of the current year, the year that's ending, or the period that's ending, whether it's the week, maybe you're ending off the quarter. This is a really great framework to use when you're closing off or when you're unlearning, you're letting go of something. It's a really great one to use there. But secondly, it's a really great one to use when you are preparing, you're looking forward, you are channeling forward, or maybe you are just trying to navigate what the new stage is going to be and jump confidently into it. So it's those two key things that it helps you with, especially your foresight. But today's video is really the one because I have something really exciting for you that will help us do a lot more of the second thing. This video will touch on the second thing. Don't make the mistake of thinking it won't. But I have something else that I think you'll find really exciting that will help us do more of the second thing than this video. So I want us to use these few minutes that we have time together to really just focus on saying, wow, 2022, it's over. Oh my goodness. What have we learned? Who did we become? What had led to that? And ask some of those really key pivotal questions. Now, why? Why is that important? Now, you'll hear a bell, and I just wanted to say this. Alright, before we carry on, you might hear this little ringing in the back. And here's why. My special human bought me these really cute elf slippers. I wear them because I absolutely love them. Now I'm wearing them now, but what I've noticed is that as I move my foot, you keep hearing the bell. So maybe let's not do that. Okay, so let's move right along. So what I was saying is there's so many key reasons why this is an important thing to do. And what I've noticed when I work with my corporate clients, but also with individuals, is that we don't really take much time to take stock because the world that we live in, the context in which we work is so busy. It literally is so touch and go. And the way that most of us live out our lives is in this effort to consistently be moving forward. But what that ends up doing for us is that we end up not taking stock. We end up not living in the moment and not making the most of the lessons that we reap at any given time. So we don't do much introspection and we don't do much reflection. So that even if we do move forward, we're just bumbling into the next stage of our lives and not necessarily moving in with intentionality, with consciousness, but also with strategic insight. And here's the reason why this is so important. It's exactly that. It's so important that as you move into a new stage, phase, segment of your life, or of your existence, of your journey, that you take stock. Because taking stock will make sure that as you move into the next year, you're not just doing what you've always done. You're a different, better, more advanced version of yourself. You bring a version of yourself into the next phase that is more enlightened, that's more aware, that's better at self-management, which is really what unlearning is all about. So I want you to just make sure that you understand that. You understand just how important it is. And now I know, as I mentioned, that our current reality sometimes doesn't allow space, time for reflection. But I want you to give yourself an opportunity to try, to steal a few moments. And that's why this video exists. I want you, wherever you are, even if you're about to start a new week, you're about to start a new quarter, or a new year when you watch this, I want you to just give yourself the gift of your time, of your awareness, just to take the time to go, it happened, it happened. Not just that it happened, but what does it mean and where am I going to go from here? So that really is the big purpose of this video. We are going to go through 3 key questions that you can think of as steps as well, that we're going to ask ourselves, that we're going to move through as we start to reflect on the year, the week, the quarter that has just been, and step confidently, but also not just confidence, because confidence, as they say, comes from knowing what you're doing, but having that courage, moving in with courage and saying, I'm ready to learn, I'm ready to explore, and I'm ready to grow. So these 3 key steps, or maybe these 3 key questions, as we'll phrase them, are really going to help you to do just that. So as we prepare to get started, get your notebook, get your notes on your Mac or your computer if you're using that, or maybe just your phone or whatever it is that you use to take notes, because this particular video is intended for you to use to actually be active. So take advantage of whatever tools you have around you to help you to take stock. I don't want you to just watch, I want you to actually engage, so that by the time this video is over, you can say, oh my goodness, look at all the stuff that I've put down as I start to get ready for the coming segment of my journey. All right, without saying too much, let's get right into it. Got some unlearning to do? Hi there, I'm Zanele Njapa, known to my clients as the Unlearning Lady, a past primary school teacher and now the world's leading voice on using key unlearning principles to self-disrupt, get unstuck, and transition successfully. Okay, so let's do this. Now, here's where I want us to start. Now that we've got a really great understanding as to why this is so important, and we have given it the mental space that it deserves, I really want us to start by asking those 3 questions and spacing things out. So you're going to, if you are working on a piece of note paper or anything else, I want you to almost split your page into 3 different parts. This is going to be really predictable, but I promise it makes a big difference. And here's why. It's simple. They say simplicity is the ultimate sophistication, and that's why these have been arranged that way, in 3 very simple, easy to remember categories or questions. Because the more simple we can make the building of a habit, the untangling of a behavior, the easier it is for us to jump into the future that we want. And that's why these have been created this way. I used to be a primary school teacher. You probably know this. So I love things to be super, super simple, because that's how we truly learn and jump into them confidently. So you're going to split your page into those 3 different parts, and here's what they are. Those 3 different parts are learn, unlearn, yes, and relearn. Learn, unlearn, relearn. Learn, unlearn, relearn. You get it. So let's talk about each one. And as I talk about them, I really want you to start asking yourself a few different questions around what that means in terms of your journey, your context, where you've been during this amazing year. What are some of the things that come to mind as you go through these? And remember that after the video, feel free to continue to write a few things down that come to mind and leverage some of the excitement that you're going to have as soon as the video is over and as you start to take stock of your year. So let's go into the very first thing. The very first part is learn, which for me is, such an exciting part of taking stock of the year, of the week, of the month, of the quarter. And maybe before I go into it, I just want to say, please make sure that when you set your goals, and we'll speak about this later because I do have an exciting offer for you. When you set your goals, you want to make sure that you are reviewing your goals every quarter and possibly even every month and every week. It sounds like a lot, but I promise you, if you can set goals that way, it means that when you review like we are doing today, you have set yourself up for a really exciting review. Okay, let's wind it back. Let's come right back. So let's start with learn then. The big purpose behind the learn segment of your review of your year is where you start to ask yourself, wow, out of everything that I've experienced, all the people that have come into my life, all the people that have possibly left my life, all the experiences that I have been a part of, what are some of the things that I have had to learn? What are some of the things that have been light bulb moments that have switched on? What are some of the themes that have come into my life that have almost positioned themselves as extremely important to me? And I'll give you a few examples. But I do want to just say as well that oftentimes we review by thinking, oh, I need to stop doing that thing. That thing must never happen again. That person needs to go. This is not working, which is important. But it's so important for us to start here. When we start with the idea of learning, what it does for us is it positions us as people that are growing, expanding consistently, but not with the angle of blame. Because often when we start with the unlearning part, we go, ooh, I'm doing so horribly, I need to change, I need to be a different person, which is all great. But when we start with learning, we say, I understand that I am a soul, I am an individual who is consistently expanding in my journey. What are the things that have contributed to that expansion this year, this week, this quarter? So does that make sense? I hope that makes a little bit of sense, that we really want to start with that idea of, what have I learned? Oh my goodness, what are the juicy nuggets that have come into my life? Okay, so now we've got that out of the way. So let's give a few examples. Let's talk about a few examples around what it might look like to put down those lessons. So here's what you want to ask yourself. During this year, with everything that I've experienced, the people I've come across, the experiences that I've had, the courses I've signed up for, the experiences I've had at work, the wins, the not so wins that I've had, the challenges I've experienced, the places I've gone, the food that I've eaten. What are some of the key themes that I've learned? And here's the thing, here's the way you really want to make this work, is you want to name those themes as actual themes, as actual big ideas, or even values. I'll give you an example. During my year, if I can say 2022 has taught me anything, it's the big idea of playing the long game. So when I go to my learning column, I will put there, play the long game. That's been a lesson I've learned consistently through building my business, through building a team consistently, through creating systems, through creating new products for you and some of the individuals that I serve and organizations that I work with. That has been a key lesson that just keeps, you know how sometimes you have these things that just keep hitting you in the face and you go, okay, I get it. And then the next week, it's that same lesson hitting you in the face. Those are the lessons I want you to put there. The lessons that when you sit in the quietness of your heart and your soul, you go, this thing keeps coming up. It's something I need to learn. Okay, so those are the things I want you to put on there. And that's the first example of mine, playing the long game, which means not expecting things to turn around overnight, not expecting the revenue to be sky high overnight, not expecting crowds of individuals to flock into my business overnight, but understanding that when you invest and when you make a choice to build a business, to create a brand, it's going to take time. And the more you can relax into that long game, the better off you're going to be in terms of your stability in building whatever it is you're building. You're probably doing the exact same thing. It doesn't have to be a business. It can be your career. It can be your personal brand. You're building something, and that might be a lesson that's come up for you. Play the long game. Another one that might have come up for you is be patient. That might be a big lesson that has consistently been coming up for you over and over again and hitting you in the face all the time. Is be patient, or maybe it's something like be consistent, or whatever it might be. This is where you get to ask yourself, and I'm going to give you a few seconds. Ask yourself, what have been your big lessons? What have been some of the things that you go, in the silence, without all of the noise of your life, your universe, the children, the spouse, whatever it is, the work. These are the things I can truly say, and try to just aim for 3. You could do more if more are coming up, but when you make the list shorter and more focused, then you know exactly where to go from there. Other than stretching yourself too thin and making it too broad and too wide, you really are able to just focus. So what are those 3 key things? And here's what I always say, you know what they are. You know what they are. But we oftentimes get really noisy in our minds when we know exactly what we are being called to focus on, what we are being called to view and to learn at any given time. So what are those lessons? Ask yourself, what are those key things that time and time again, they keep coming up for me? Is it that I need to play the long game? Is it that I need to be open to change? Be open to change. Be flexible. Allow yourself to enjoy life, which is another one that consistently comes up. What are they? What are your 3 key learnings? Because we're still on that first column, right? 3 key learnings for 2022. Take some time to write those 3 down. What are they for you? And if you do come up with more, like I mentioned, that's perfectly all right. Maybe when we finish this video, you can go back to your list of 5 or 10 or 20 and go, okay, which are the 3 key ones that when I read through my list, those are the ones that almost jump out at me. Those are the ones that feel like they carry the most weight. Hey, all right, so we're going to stop there with those and we'll come back to it. You can always come back to it. Like I said, you can always come back to it. We're going to now go to the second column, column number 2. So we've done learn, and now we're going to move into unlearn, which is now where we get to be just a little bit more critical. And by critical here, I mean we get to be a little bit more intentional. We get to be a little bit more self-aware. And that's the thing. I think we often use the term critical and it awakens a lot of this anxiety within us to say, oh, I'm such a horrible person. I'm not perfect. I'm doing so badly. But the point of being critical with yourself is not to critique yourself necessarily, but it's to be self-aware. It's to bring your awareness back into self and say, I know I can do better. I know that I've experienced a lot of challenges and I've gone through a lot of things, but I know that if I was to sharpen in these key areas, ooh, child, you better watch out because I'm coming. So that's what this is about. What are those 3 key areas that you know are areas for development, areas where you do tend to get a bit challenged, areas that you knew if I was to sharpen my saw, get a little bit more acute in these areas, I would be unstoppable. Here's the thing, before we go into what those are, I want to just bring up something that I think is really important. These are not necessarily areas where your strengths aren't, where your passion isn't. And you say, oh, I know if I was to get a lot better at bookkeeping, everything would be so much better. If bookkeeping is not necessarily your strength, it's not necessarily something you enjoy that's going to bring growth into your business, into your life, then I don't want you to write it down. I want you to write down the 3 key areas that you know for you, you are passionate about. You know that if you were to grow them, they would actually bring a lot of value into what you're doing into the coming year. Things that you're passionate about, things that you're willing to invest in, things that are in your area of expertise. Okay, in your passion, in your area of strength, that you know, I could definitely polish this. Or these can also be things that you go, I didn't do so well with that thing, or I didn't approach that well. And the way you can think about this one is in terms of expertise, but also skills. Skills being things that you do, expertise being things that you know. So let's look at a key example once again from my personal life. If I think back on the past year, in growing my business, one of the key skills that I could definitely develop a lot better as someone who is leading a team is definitely the skill of being a lot more open to conversation, speaking a lot more. I am extremely introverted and I struggle a lot of the time with one-to-one conversations with individuals. I have to psych myself up to be able to get engaged. But I found that this year, that has been a trait that has hurt the growth of my team, because in situations where I thought, oh, it would be really valuable to have a one-on-one conversation, I would have it, but I wouldn't really dig deep into into it. So that's a skill that I could potentially polish up. And I want you to also be aware of the fact that when I mentioned that, I didn't say, oh, I need to stop not speaking to people. But what I said is that I need to polish the skill or develop the skill of having conversations with individuals. Can you feel the difference between that? Because one says bad and the other one says I can be better. And I don't want you to think about unlearning as things you need to stop, but I want you to think of things you can develop. I hope you can feel that difference, because that makes all the difference when we think about jumping into the next month, the next year, the next quarter of our lives, and in this case, the next year. So what are those 3 key things for you? What are those 3 key development areas that you have in terms of skills, but also in terms of expertise, things that you know? Was there perhaps something that if you knew, you would be much better equipped? Like, for example, with myself, I'm sharpening up some of my neuroscience understanding and insights. I do work in the neuroscience space here and there in terms of my coaching and supporting my organizations, but I know that if I just had a little bit more insight, if I could grow and make sure that I'm better equipped in that area, I would be able to serve my clients even more. If I had some of the leading edge knowledge and insights around neuroscience, how people learn, how people grow, how people develop at the brain level, I'd be able to support my clients that much more. Although I do have a lot of those insights already, I know that with more, I'd be able to serve my clients that much better. So that's an example of expertise that I feel, we could polish up on those. Those could be better. This is where you have to just be honest with yourself. Put your hand on your heart and be honest. And then that first part are those skills. What do I feel like if I could do better? I would be that much more equipped to jump into the person that I want to become. So that's the second part, those skills. And that's things that you do. And like for myself, I gave you the example that I feel like if I was a better communicator, things would be that much better. So as you write those down, I do want to just share that as we go through these, I want you to be asking yourself, how can I then start to build those? And that will come in our review when we work on when we work on stepping into 2023, and I'll share the good news. I keep wanting to share it with you already, but when I share that good news of what I've got for you and the invitation I'd love to extend to you, then you'll see how doing this will equip you for when you and I meet on the 16th of January 2023. Okay, so that's the second part, is that unlearning. What are those skills and expertise that I'm going to polish up on so I can show up better, so that I can give rise to that new version of self that is coming through. All right, so that's the second part. Now we're going to end off with that third part, and then I want to touch on 1 or 2 things and then give you that exciting offer or surprise that I have for you. So the last part then is the relearning. We know now what we want to learn. What are the things we've learned rather, and then we focused on the things we need to unlearn in the form of learning. Can you almost see how that happened there, which is a really great way that encourages you not to be self-deprecating, but to encourage yourself to step into your future with a little bit of confidence as well. Now the third part is that relearning. Okay, so here's what I want you to do for this. I want you to close your eyes. If you're in a safe space, if you are driving while you are watching this video or listening to this, please don't close your eyes. You're gonna get me in trouble. Please don't close your eyes. If you're in a safe space, you can close your eyes. If not, you can just sit back if you're in a fairly relaxed space. If not, if you're driving, you can just in the back of your mind, but also not in a way that will distract you, obviously, from the activity that you're carrying out. Here's what I want you to do. I'd like you to picture in your head, in your mind, with your mind's eye, the version of yourself that you see in 2023. So who's that person? Who's that person that you want to give rise to, give birth to in not give birth like that obviously, but the person that you are becoming, that you want to be, the version of yourself you want to be in 2023. Who is that person? What do they feel like? And I almost want you to feel into that person. And maybe even on the side, if you're taking notes, put a few words that represent who that person is. What they feel like. Do they feel like freedom? Do they feel like abundance? Do they feel like peace? Do they feel like empowerment? Do they feel like excitement? Do they feel like fun? What does that person feel like to you? Put down a few words, values that represent what that person feels like to you. Once you've put a few of those down, just let them come as you feel into that person, as you feel into who they are, the activities they do during their day, who they speak to, what they engage in, the projects that they take on. Do they feel like a winner? Do they feel like someone who empowers others? Do they feel expansive? Do they feel complicated? Do they feel abundant? And that's one we've mentioned, and you can tell by mentioning it twice that it's definitely one of mine. What do they feel like? What does that person feel like? Take one more second to feel into them, because that's you. That's the version of yourself that you are creating, that you are building. Or no, come back to me. Come back to me now. So we've done that, and that's an activity that you can come back to after this video. You can take as much time as you want with it. It's fun to imagine. It's fun to engage that part of your brain that we don't do as consistently as we possibly can, because I think that when we grow up, or as we grow up, we tend to shut that part of our brains out and we go, let's focus on reality. Let's focus on what's happening right now, the stuff that is tangible, that we can feel. And we forget that everything that we see, that we've built and brought into our lives, consciously or unconsciously, has come from our imaginations. Because we've imagined ourselves a particular way, sometimes without even consciously knowing it. And then we've gone out to create and mold that for ourselves. So take some time. Don't be shy. Take some time to allow yourself to imagine, to allow that version of yourself to just play, because that's where it starts. That's where that version of yourself is given rise to. It's in your beautiful imagination. Okay, so now that we've done that, we're going to bring that beautiful insight, that beautiful imagination into part number 3, which is our relearning. So we've done learning, we've done unlearning, now we're going to do relearning. And relearning is the part of our review where we say to ourselves, okay, if I think about the version of myself that I want to bring forth, and if you follow me on Instagram, if you don't, please follow me on Instagram, because I post there almost pretty much every day. And I want to share, I've got this post that's lined up. When you watch this, it depends. When you watch this, it might already have gone live. But the idea behind this post is that we don't want to think about it as goals you want to set, because the word goals is so full of anxiety for so many people that we almost don't want to think about goals. So think about it in terms of your intentions. What intentions do you have? And the relearning segment of our review is exactly that. It's us asking ourselves, what are my intentions? What do I intend? What do I want to bring in to the coming year? And that's what this is about. Relearning is about, what do I want to bring in? What do I need more of? Who do I need? What programs do I need to jump onto as I go in? And relearning is where the unlearning and the learning almost become tangible. What do I need to do? What systems do I need to put in place? What procedures do I need to create? What habits do I need to build? Who are the people that I need to bring on board? And that's what I want us to think of now. And we can almost split that into those different forms. I want you to ask yourself, as you start to write down under relearning, what habits do you need to create? If one of your big intentions for the year is maybe to lose weight, if that's one of your things, or one of your things is to maybe get a promotion at work or move into a completely new career, then ask yourself, what are the habits that you need to build in order to get there? Do you need to maybe start jumping onto LinkedIn and engaging with new contacts or connecting with new people every single Monday, every single day, every single Tuesday, a limit of 5 or so people? Try to make it super specific is where you go, all right, let's go. This is the part that says, let's do this, let's get it done. So who are the people that you need? Are there certain individuals you need to start engaging with that you aren't engaging with right now? As you start to relearn, as you start to learn, and unlearn. Do you need someone different in your corner? Do you need a business coach? Do you need a mentor? Do you need a career coach? Who do you need in your corner as you start to step forward? That's one thing you can ask yourself. Another one is, what networks do I need to be building? Do I need to be in a group of people? Do I need to join more Facebook groups for moms with 2-year-olds? Because right now, this little one is giving me a hard time. What is it that for you, you need to set up in terms of actually supporting yourself and building that beautiful foundation to create the person, or bring in or step into the person you want to step into being? So that's what relearning is all about. Maybe let's talk about a few other examples. Who do you need to have in your life? We spoke about what groups might you need to be a part of, or squads, or networks. If you're looking to build an exciting career, move into a new one, I strongly suggest you join my network. That's a really great one to be a part of. If that's what you want to do, our career review checklist. We've got a course that's also made up of a network of other individuals who are also doing the same and changing careers and challenging how they review their careers and do exactly what you and I are doing today. So that's another thing you can ask yourself. Another thing you can ask yourself that's very similar to what we did right in the beginning is, what do I need to learn? What are some of the things I need to bring in? What are the insights I need to tap into? But think more than anything about the habits. How do you take those insights, those skills, maybe expertise and skills, and turn them into something you can practice? So for example, every month I'm going to go onto Audible and use my Audible credit to buy one book about changing my career or advancing my career, or maybe just about being able to build a great relationship with my wife, with my husband, whatever it is that you want to actually do or step into, learn and unlearn. Think now about, what are the habits, what are the practices, what are the behaviors that I need to build in order to actually step into that in a big, exciting way. Take a few seconds to write down at least 3 of those, just so you know where to go to from here. Thinking about what you need to learn and unlearn, what are now the tangible habits and behaviors that you need to build, or you need to relearn, re-engineer into your life as you step into the coming year. Once you start to wrap up this one and then look into, or foresight into the coming year, what are they? Don't be too critical with yourself now. If they don't come up, feel free to leave them. We can always come back, but start to think about it. Usually the most important thing is starting to just think about those things, just building a little bit of awareness in order to self-manage. Okay, so that's literally all we have to do. And I want to encourage you, as we close off this video, that the review process is something that I am super keen on. You know, if you're part of my career review checklist, that I'm all about reviewing your career. And reviewing everything, actually, the brand you're building, the business you're working on. Because when we're able to review, we leverage the power of self-awareness in order to self-manage and then just absolutely kill it at our goals. Unless we're able to bring our awareness into what's working, what's not working so well, we're not able to change it. So that's what I want you to do. I want you to really focus on making your review a regular thing. Making reviewing your goals, reviewing your intentions, something that you do often, something that feels comfortable to you, something that you sit down with your glass of whatever you enjoy having and just sit there and go, okay, let's look back to look forward. Let's look back to spring forward, or whatever terms you prefer to use there as well. Okay. So that literally is our 3-step review process that you're going to use as you think about how 2022 was an amazing year for you and how you're going to spring into 2023. So that's learn, unlearn, and relearn. Learn, unlearn, and relearn. You would split your page up into those 3 different segments, and that's your review done. If you can just use those 3 different columns to space yourself out and Create your beautiful momentum that really is going to help you to jump forward into what you want to build and who you want to become. Okay, so it's time now for that exciting announcement that I told you I had for you. If you are ready to use those insights and say, oh my goodness, Zanele, these 3 steps have been amazing. I want more. I want to start my 2023 off by knowing exactly what to put in place in order to make 2023 my best year yet, whether I'm speaking in terms of my personal life or just my career, then you are the person I would like to invite to come and join me on the 16th of January 2023 at 5 p.m. South African Standard Time. Now, I'm not in South Africa at the moment, I'm in France, but it is during South African Standard Time. And here's what we're going to be doing. The workshop is actually called Ready, Set, Goals, because that's exactly what we're going to be doing. We're going to be getting ready. We're going to set ourselves up in order to make sure that in 2023, we nail our goals on the head. Because we will build together a strategy. I'll take you through a framework that I teach consistently to my clients, even my corporate clients that are going through organizational change, in order to make changes stick. So if you're someone who's found yourself in a position in the past where you've got, oh, I have all these amazing goals, but they're not sticking, it's not working. By the time we get to February or March, I'm already off the wagon. This is going to be perfect for you because I will teach you my framework, but more than just that, we're going to get active, we are going to engage, we're going to make sure that by the time you leave our 2-hour or so conversation, you're set up to make sure that those goals or that one big intention that you have for the year is one that you are going to achieve. I'm going to share with you a foolproof strategy that I use. It's based on some of my neuroscience insights, but also work that I've done with so many clients across the world that have helped them to maintain the momentum around their goals, but also to achieve them in a way that feels authentic, in a way that feels real. Don't you just hate it when we set goals and they make us feel like we've got a hustle culture going on or we're not ourselves? You want to create goals in today's day that feel good to you, that just feel real. They don't feel fake. They feel good. You feel good about the actions you need to take. You feel good about the habits that you're creating around those goals. And that's exactly what we are going to do together. We're going to do exactly that. I can't wait to see you. I can't wait to support you. If you are ready to jump onto Ready, Set, Goals, the workshop, I want you to go into the link that's in the description for this video and join me. Sign up to join me. Share it. Share that link with other amazing individuals that you know have taken a decision to step into 2023 in a powerful way. You know what? If you have already watched this video, you've already set yourself up to get started with that because you've done all of the groundwork. And this groundwork is exactly what I'm going to be encouraging every person who signs up to do. So you've already done it. It means you're already done. You can get that out of the way. You're ready for January the 16th with me. As soon as you register or sign up, get your ticket, you will be given your notebook or workbook for the session. And that's exactly where you're going to put down all your notes. If you've got any pre-work that you want to do, you can put that in there so that by the time I see you and you see all the other amazing individuals who are going to be part of the session on the 16th, you are ready to set yourself up and make 2023 your best year yet, which is exactly what I want for you and exactly what I want for myself, and I know I am going to have, because I'm intentional, I'm strategic, I'm authentic about my goals and what I want. Okay, this has been amazing. I hope you're going to leverage this review. You're going to make it count. You're going to use it, not just now as you step into 2023, but every time, every quarter, when you go, okay, I need to review again. I need to review again. Or every week when you're like, okay, it's a new week. I'm ready to get started. Come back to this video. Use it. Use these steps to make sure that you step into the next week, the next quarter, the next half year into the next version of yourself that you want to build and create. So it's such a pleasure spending time with you. Thank you so much. If you are not yet subscribed to my channel, go over to underneath this video, hit the subscribe button and make sure that you ring the notification bell so that every single time I release a new video, you are one of the first people to know about it. Thank you so much for spending time with me today. I absolutely adore you. I hope you've had amazing holidays and you're enjoying yourself, you're resting, you're recuperating, you're stepping back to shoot forward to an amazing, amazing year. I wish you nothing but peace, but love. I also wish you each and every single blessing that you wish for yourself and others. So if you're wishing others not so great things, then but I wish you all of the best. Thank you so much for spending time with me. Lots and lots of love. I'm wishing you your personalized version of absolute, unending, abundant success. Bye for now.